Ahead of the Madrid derby on Saturday, the Whites will be looking to extend their superb record at the Santiago Bernabeu. It's now 12 consecutive league games unbeaten at home, and it's a busy few days for the Whites because straight after the visit of Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid will travel to Moscow on Sunday to prepare for their second Champions League group stage game against CSKA Moscow on Tuesday. So these final preparations, very important to make sure they're ready for both those matches.
Yes, certainly. Good morning, Madridistas. Welcome to Valdebebas. It is a beautiful sunny day here, and these preparations are well underway as the session begins here with gentle jogging before some more ball work, I'm sure, a bit of fitness work, making sure that everybody is fit and ready and raring to go for what is one of the biggest games of the season, of course. The Madrid derby, Atletico Madrid making the short trip to the Bernabeu for what promises to be not only a fascinating game but a really important one as well in terms of the league title race. We know that Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid will be battling for the league title. Of course, last season both matches finished as a draw. It was 1-1 at the Bernabeu, 0-0 at the Estadio Wanda Metropolitano. Already had one Madrid derby, of course, this season right at the start with the UEFA Super Cup as well. So it's a familiar opponent for Real Madrid, and one that they'll be very, very keen to try and get 3 points against, not just, of course, because 3 points are vital in the push for the title at the start of the season, but also because it is a local derby, and it does mean that extra bit more to the fans. Should be fantastic atmosphere at the Bernabeu. It's an evening kickoff as well. The weather should be good. So, yep, really looking forward to this game, as I'm sure Madridistas all around the world are.
Should be a great game, and expecting a tough test from Atletico Madrid, who defeated Huesca 3-0 at home on Tuesday night. They have had one extra day to prepare because Real Madrid got back in the early hours of Thursday morning from Seville, but Julen Lopetegui has lots of options and will make sure all the players in his starting 11 are fully fit and ready to go, with Dani Carvajal now fit again. Almost every member of the first team squad available for selection. Just Isco, who's recovering from appendicitis, so he'll be out for a few weeks, but Lopetegui still has a lot of options in every position.
Yes, shame for Isco, who turned up at Valdebebas earlier this week with a pain in his side. It was investigated by the medical staff and found out to have appendicitis, had an operation, so he is recovering. We wish him all the best and a speedy recovery for Isco. Hopefully he'll be back with his teammates not before too long, but apart from that, more or less a fully fit squad to choose from. We'll see how Marcelo gets on. Of course, picked up a little bit of a knock in that game against Seville midweek, so we'll see whether or not he is available for the game on Saturday evening against Atletico Madrid. Just trying to see if he's out there training, and it doesn't seem that he is at the moment, so we'll see whether or not he's training indoors or he's training apart. He is usually pretty easy to spot with his iconic hair, so I can't see him at the moment. So yeah, possibly Marcelo and Isco, the only players not training with the squad at the moment. We'll see if we can get some clearer images of who exactly is out there. But yes, a very strong squad for Real Madrid. We know that Julen Lopetegui has a really, really impressive strength of depth to this first team squad, and the first choice starting 11 on Saturday will be extremely competitive, as will Atletico Madrid. So we know this is one of the big fixtures in European football. No other city has had its two teams contest a European final before, let alone twice. Of course, 2014, 2016, we had the Champions League final against Atletico Madrid. So the Madrid derby has become one of the big cross-city derbies in European football and indeed world football. The level of quality which will be on display on Saturday evening, and as we see here, the level of quality in the Real Madrid squad is extremely high, so it should be a really, really high quality but also keenly contested and close match as well between two excellent teams.
One player who is out on the pitch of Valdebebas this morning is Luka Modric, who was named FIFA's best male player in the Best Awards ceremony held in London at the start of the week. There he is, right in the centre of the image there. And he wasn't the only Madridista recognised at the gala. Thibaut Courtois was named best goalkeeper, and 4 Madridista were chosen for FIFA's World 11. Sergio Ramos for the 9th season, Marcelo for the 5th season, Luka Modric for the 4th season, and Raphael Varane for the first time after an unforgettable year for him, winning the World Cup with France and his 4th Champions League. And he's still only 25 years old.
Yes, absolutely. We know that there is plenty of talent in this squad, and plenty to come, of course, from a lot of the young players in this Real Madrid team. Marco Asensio as well. He's set to make his 100th appearance for Real Madrid against Atletico on Saturday evening, and he is a player of whom a lot was expected, and he has really delivered, has to be said, in these almost 100 games. So we're looking forward to seeing him potentially feature on Saturday. Of course, we don't know the starting 11, we don't know who's going to be, but there is every chance that Asensio, Bale and Benzema is the starting 3. They've started 5 of the 6 league games that Real Madrid have played so far this season, so it does seem like that is the favoured starting 3 at the moment for Julian Lopetegui for La Liga. And of course, with Isco out as well, it just means that makes it more likely we will see those 3 up front. But as we said, Lopetegui does have options. It is a very talented and squad with a lot of depth in it, so we wouldn't want to try and second guess what the manager will do, although all signs do point to the fact that Bale, Benzema and Asensio could well start the game against Atletico on Saturday. As
you say, Lopetegui does have options. He has been sharing the minutes around, but one player who's played every single minute since the start of the season is Sergio Ramos. 750 minutes on the pitch, and that was including the 30 minutes extra time in the UEFA Super Cup. He's scored 3 goals, just 10 goals away from becoming the highest goal-scoring defender in the history of La Liga. Should we stop there and should we discuss what's going on there?
I'm not sure what's going on there, but they seem to be having a good time. This is a specific exercise. Actually, I'm not sure I've seen this at the start of a training session. Usually we start off with a bit of jogging, some rondos as well, the piggy in the middle. But I'm not sure what's going on there. But
and the day before the derby too.
Day before the derby, but press-ups as well. So there we go. Smiles, but hard work as well, which will continue because it is a big game against Atletico Madrid. As you were saying, Sergio Ramos, who has been ever present for Real Madrid this season, scoring a couple of goals as well in La Liga. Of course, he's taking penalties as well this season and taking them very well. So let's see if he manages to add to his tally of goals against Atletico Madrid. He's got some big goals against Atletico Madrid in the past. As this exercise continues, it's team building, but also I think there's some strength involved, a bit of sprinting. Trying to work out. As we said, it is a new exercise. Obviously, we've got a new manager this season who has new ideas and new way of doing things. So interesting to see the players. Obviously, fascinating to see this training session live here on Real Madrid TV, wherever you're watching. If you're joining us on Real Madrid TV, if you're joining us on Facebook, live coverage here from Valdebebas of the final training session. Just trying to second guess and work out what's going on in this particular exercise. But I think maybe it's the losers have to do press-ups, so down and 20 press-ups for certain members of the squad. Round of applause, and now the session can continue.
As always, the day before the game, the first 15 minutes of the session's open to the press, and the rest of training takes place behind closed doors when the more complex tactics are involved, when Julian Lopetegui obviously wants that to take place away from the media, away from the cameras.
Absolutely, don't want to give anything away. They'll be working on set pieces as well. I'm sure we know that set pieces can be pretty definitive in these kind of games, close matches against big teams, but also particularly against Atletico Madrid. There have been as you mentioned, some important goals scored from set pieces against Atletico Madrid, perhaps most famously in those Champions League finals. Sergio Ramos' header in the 2014 final in the 93rd minute from that Luka Modric corner, and then the goal he also scored in the 2016 final, which came from a Toni Kroos free kick, flicked on by that man Gareth Bale and prodded home by Sergio Ramos. So those are just two that spring to mind off the top of the head, but I'm sure there have been plenty more goals from set pieces against Atletico Madrid, so no doubt they will be working on that as well, away from the cameras, to be able to perhaps spring a surprise on Atleti.
4 goals and 3 assists so far this season for Gareth Bale. He's scored or assisted in his last 11 games. He's been in sensational form since the very start of pre-season. Well, since the end of last season, with that superb, sensational goal he scored in the Champions League final against Liverpool. And it's looking like this season could be one of his best yet in a Real Madrid shirt. Yeah, it was very unfortunate on Wednesday evening against Sevilla. Didn't manage to get on the score sheet, but hit the woodwork. And also had a one-on-one chance, which was brilliantly saved from Vaslik. He did look very, very dangerous indeed, and he has looked very, very dangerous indeed throughout the season so far. So looking forward to see how he gets on against Atletico Madrid. He looks in tremendous physical shape, it has to be said. He did a lot of work over the summer, and that will stand him in good stead, we hope, for the duration of the campaign. Was rested in the last home game against Espanyol, of course, so the minutes being shared around, just making sure that everybody gets minutes and gets a bit of rest when needed, because as we've mentioned, Real Madrid in the midst of a very, very busy time, 7 games in just around 3 weeks, 22 days. So the match is coming really, really thick and fast. As you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Alex, we've got a trip to Moscow almost immediately after this Champions League, this Madrid derby rather. So matches more or less every 3 days, which means it's only logical that the minutes get shared around, and you do rest players when you think it's more opportune to rest them, to make sure that they're in the condition that you want them to be for the games, the big games, and when they need to deliver. As we see the goalkeepers here, the 3 first choice goalkeepers, or first team goalkeepers, Thibaut Courtois, Kiko Casilla, and of course Keylor Navas. They're working apart from the main groups as they always do. And now here we see the more traditional warm-up for the training session, the rondos, the piggy in the middle. Practically every training session begins with this particular exercise, just to get the muscles flowing, get the ball-to-eye coordination rolling as well. And it's also an exercise which raises the spirits as well, because nobody wants to go in the middle. We know that these players are very competitive. Nobody wants to go in the middle. So making sure that they're on the top of their game to start the session. We know they enjoy this one, but it looked like they enjoyed the first one even more. Yes. Whatever it was, we're not entirely sure, but ended up with a few players doing some press-ups. So there we go. Madridistas, reminder, you can join us on Derby Day live from the Santiago Bernabeu for all our best pre-match build-up here on Real Madrid TV in English. That's 40 minutes ahead of kick-off from the Bernabeu on Saturday. Absolutely, the only Madridista preview show live from the Bernabeu pitch side. We'll bring you the warm-ups live from the Bernabeu, also be speaking to fans outside the stadium and bringing you the essence, the atmosphere of what a Madrid derby is all about. So make sure you join us on Real Madrid TV for that. You won't get a better Madridista preview anywhere on the internet or indeed on TV. So put in your diaries 40 minutes before kickoff, whatever the kickoff time, wherever you are around the world. Real Madrid TV, stick us on. Otherwise, you can watch us on realmadrid.com, on the Real Madrid app as well, and I'm sure we'll be doing stuff on social media as well. So make sure you check us out as we build up to the first League Madrid derby of the season, Real Madrid against Atletico Madrid. Well, that's all we have time for, Madridistas. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you on Saturday, but for now, it's adios.